I have had to work 2 families that I can think of that we've worked with that have been difficult to engage. One particular family, she did not like working with the school system. She didn't feel like the school system was supporting her kids. The kids had issues with coming to school, whether it was that they were sick or had anxiety issues. So the social worker that had the family at this point had taken the family to court for educational neglect. At that point, mom did not want anything to do with the school system. She went to court, was very rude and disrespectful in court, and we felt like we weren't getting anywhere with her, and the kids were still missing school, was still not following through with the recommendations of the school, and so the judge had to put some serious consequences on the family. And I got the case. I would say they were in court for a couple months, and then the family moved to the north end of the county, and that's when I got the case. And I started working with mom, and she was very angry that the court system was involved. She would constantly call me and just curse, go off on me, curse at me, send me emails saying that I was stalking her, because I would email her asking her that if we can get a note when her kids were out sick. And so finally, I would say about a month or 2 after working with mom, I had mom come in for a meeting, and I felt like I needed to build a relationship with mom. She still had young kids. I felt like the kids are going to come through the school system, whether we like it or not. So I had mom come in for a meeting, and she was talking to me about court and how much she hated court and how she felt that nobody respected her in court, and that the judge was always looking at her as a bad parent and that she was unfit. And so I got to the point where I felt like the only way that I was going to get mom to be receptive to the school and feel like we were engaged in trying to do something for her kids was by kind of letting her know how she was what I observed of her. And so in talking with mom, I kind of told her, this is what I've observed with you in court. Like, you're very disrespectful, you're very defensive. You have, your tone of voice is not appropriate most of the time when you're talking to the judge or the attorneys. And so with that kind of an attitude, you're not going to get things worked out. It's only going to make things worse for you and the kids. And mom, got defensive, of course, but I would say after a couple of days of that meeting, she calls me back, and she was telling me how grateful she was that I actually told her how she was acting. I helped her come up with an email where she was writing to the attorney, because she had been very defensive to the attorney initially. And mom was just very grateful that I was able to kind of tell her, hey, this is how you're acting, kind of call her out to make her realize that she was not being appropriate. Overall, she wasn't being appropriate. But she just felt like she trusted me, and the fact that I was even trying to engage her and I'd never give up on her. So that was one of my examples. I have another one where another family that I was working with, it's an aunt who's raising 2 of her nephews that are pretty challenging, and she comes from a rough family. There's never been a lot of touchy-feely. It's more of just tough love that she was raised with, and so this is the kind of relationship she has with her nephews, and the nephews have a lot of trauma that they've dealt with. And so Aunt has always been very defensive with the school. Anytime we've called her to come in for a meeting, she gets mad, or she refuses to take the child to be evaluated, doesn't follow through with medicine. And overall, the family just has bad hygiene. They don't do homework consistently. And so one day I felt like, I needed to talk to Aunt, just her and I. So again, I had a meeting with the aunt, and I kind of told her how she was acting. And I said, we're both on the same team. We're here to help you and the boys. I really need you to be more responsive and less defensive so that we can come up with a plan that's going to make life easier for all of them. And initially the aunt was defensive, and she, after a couple talks and just text messages and talking to her on the phone, she realized that she can trust me, and she felt more comfortable. So then from then on, I became her point of contact, and it's been now 2 years, And she still calls on me. I think I talk to her like every day. And in meetings, she always wants me there when we have meetings for either of the kids. But she's very grateful as well because she feels like I met her where she was, and I kind of called her out and I said, the only way that you're going to get response from the school and you're going to be more successful and be able to provide for the boys is if you meet us halfway and just listen to what we're trying to tell you. Because a lot of the times I think she was just had kind of, she had it with the school, was not engaged, did not want to hear it. She knew best what was for the boy, what was best for the boys, which she does, and we never questioned that. It was more of how can we work together as a team to get everybody on the same page and get what the kids need. So after a couple meetings, and like I said, it's been now 2 years, and I talk to her all the time. And she's very grateful, and now everybody goes through me to kind of get her to be to come to meetings or to get her to agree to different programs that we've recommended for the boys. But overall, I think the main component to engaging families is to meet them where they are and be strengths-based, because that's the only way that the family is going to feel like they trust you. If you come in very negative, or if you are defensive to begin with them or give up on them, then typically they will not engage with you, and you're not going to build that relationship that you need for like long-term success.